Okay, now if an 18-year-old Cyrus were to draw an SUV in school, trust me, I drew a lot of this stuff on the back of my textbooks. My mom whipped me like a little naughty boy that I was. But if I were to draw a family SUV in school, this is the kind of stuff I would draw, okay? This sort of bumper, red accents everywhere. I'm genuinely excited by this car, and not a lot of new launches really genuinely excite me. This actually does, because look, you can get all of this stuff done outside aftermarket, but this is a factory-fitted, factory-built car that looks really cool and still does everything that your family wants it to do. This, of course, is the new Hyundai Creta N line. We're going to talk about everything that's new in it very, very quickly. Do a little walk around of it, because 3 days from now, from this video going live, we're going to have another video going live, which is, of course, me driving this car and telling you everything about it. But for now, a little quick walk around. I'm actually excited by this. New bumpers. Not a lot of people like those squared off bumpers on a standard Creta. I love the way that looks. I love this even more. Of course, you've got grey paint, something for me to talk about, because matte grey paint is still cool. I know it's getting a little stale now, maybe, but generally matte grey paint is still good. Matte black, maybe not too much. Of course, you will need to PP up this to keep the bird poo off it. But listen, nice big front, new looking face. Still has all the Creta bits and pieces, and of course, as I talked about, red accents. Who doesn't like red accents in their family car? It looks cool. It looks like they're about to have a little bit of a early midlife crisis. Listen, I think this looks nice, okay? But we need to talk about something on this side. 18-inch wheels, okay? Not 17s like the standard Creta does. 18s. Tell your friends you've got 18s on your car. My SL has 18s on my car. A normal family SUV with 18s, really cool. But the biggest thing this year, that is a red brake caliper. And that means that you automatically add 50 horsepower to your car. Not really. Not really. About that, we'll talk a little bit later, okay? Okay, we've talked about red brake calipers, but blue is something I want to now talk about, because although I would probably personally have it in that matte grey, which is a striking color, but it would need matte PPF. Blue is, of course, a signature N-line color, because all the i20 N-lines you see everywhere are normally blue, isn't it? This, of course, is the signature color for the Creta N-line as well. You've got the same color in the Venue N-line also. The normal N color is a lighter blue, but this is really cool as well. Now look, red accent pieces here also. Unlike the front, this has some red accents all the way across the back, which is nice. Plastic. Of course, you've got a 4 diffuser on the bottom with this fake red Formula 1 style brake light. That's not a brake light, it's just a piece of plastic. And you've got 2 tips for extra added sportiness. I was going to say extra added pleasure, but unlike the i20 N-line, which has a raspberry exhaust, no, this just has a standard exhaust, but they've changed the treatment on the bottom. So almost Honda City VTEC like, although that did have a slightly different exhaust. Okay, I'm just getting hyperactive because there are a few cars that do this to me. There are a few cars that today really excite me. This thing is one of them. Okay, so let's talk about what's different inside, because underneath everything is what really counts, okay? We've got the same engine, the 1.5 liter turbo petrol 4-cylinder, 160 horsepower. We all come to really like this engine in general because it is really quick and very powerful. You've got the option of an automatic and a manual gearbox, but what's different is underneath. What's different is suspension setup. That's what N-line really does. In the i20, suspension slightly lower, suspension slightly stiffer, handling is slightly better because of the steering geometry as well. On this, there are these similar changes as well, but they don't really know yet exactly what those figures are, and they're not really told us. So we will put all those figures in the drive review, I promise you that. But for now, I can tell you the stiffness of suspension, the front and the rear, both in terms of the spring settings and in terms of shock absorber settings, are different from the standard car. And you've got a slightly more calibrated, slightly more feedback oriented steering as well. Power though remains the same, but 8.9 seconds to 100 isn't really slow, is it now? Come on, guys. I mean, it's slow if you drive supercars on a daily basis or actual hot hatches, but general family SUV, theek hai yaar. 9 seconds to 100, enough to make your kids smile at the back and your wife scream in the front. Now, one of the big things that I said in my review of the normal standard facelifted Creta was that I did not like the light grey colored interiors that the standard car has. This I love. I'm a massive black interiors fan in general, especially when it comes sort of mated to red accent pieces everywhere. Now, unlike some cars which do red accent pieces just everywhere, this has done it very specifically. And it's not just red paint, like bright red plastic, it's almost anodized plastic, which makes it almost feel metallic in nature. It's like the red finish that you see on a Project Red iPhone. which is good because it sort of exudes quality. You also have red stitching everywhere. You've got little red accents on the seats. This almost looks like a little bit of a pinkish shade as compared to what the other reds are, but overall it looks great. All black interiors work well on a sportier car. End of discussion, period. I don't want to hear more of this, but overall this just adds to all that sportiness, right? You have the little bits and pieces outside, now you have the little bits and pieces on the inside. It just makes you feel a lot nice. Apart from that, everything else stays exactly the same as the normal Creta does. You get all the screens, all the little bits and pieces. You get the ADAS on top here somewhere, and everything works because it's Hyundai. And you get a little N badge here to remind you that you're driving an N-line car, not just a standard run-of-the-mill family Creta. You got another N badge here as well. And we're back. Okay, look, matte paint, the biggest disadvantage is it's covered now with fingerprints, which is giving my OCD something to really think about and cringe inside. We'll keep that in the side for now. Let's talk about the way this is priced. Okay, 16.82 lakhs, the starting entry-level manual version, and 19.34 for the top-of-the-line manual, and the automatic starts at 18.32 and 20.2990, 20.3 lakhs. You'll have all of these prices on the screen, obviously, in big bold letters like we always do. But that means that for a little bit more money, you get factory fitted coolness. And remember guys, factory fitted coolness is always better than aftermarket coolness, says somebody who does a lot of aftermarket stuff to all of his cars. But if you do it tastefully, maybe the aftermarket stuff is better. But listen, I prefer something that comes factory fitted because it fits better, it looks better. Overall, it just looks a lot nicer. It goes nicely together as a package. What do you think then of the Creta N line? Would you just buy a standard Creta and spruce it up with little bits and pieces and nicer looking wheels? Or would you buy this, the whole hog, the Creta N line? Tell me in the comments below, and we'll see you there.